Good morning, guys. It's Gio, your favorite ball flight attendant, once again. And today we are in a very special place because, as you know, aviation is a recurrent topic in this YouTube channel. And today we are exploring aviation in a different way. We are actually in the border between Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we are going to be exploring an abandoned military base, which is called Željava Air Base. It was built up during the 60s and it was destroyed in the early 90s due to the war in the area. And right after parking the car here, we have already found the first piece of art here right behind me. Is this airplane, and we're going to be exploring it together. So guys, don't tell me this is not cool. It's a real airplane. Look at this, it's actually quite big because I saw it on TV before coming here. I've been planning to visit this area for a while already, but I never got the chance, so it's my first time here. And I always imagine actually this airplane to be much smaller than it is. So we're going under the wing, which is something you never have to do if you are in a real airport with a real airplane. Well, this is real, but of course it's not in use anymore. Look at how cool this is. Of course, it's been visited by so many people, and each one of them were leaving like their traces. And you can actually even enter the airplane. So we're gonna climb up the stairs here. It's actually quite small, the cabin, and I'm quite tall, so I need to be like bending down a bit. See which parts of the cockpit have been left. No commands, of course. Only the seat skeleton, no cushions, of course. A really big part of the airplane has been removed, as you can see. So guys, this is actually one of the runways in this military air base. So look at how cool and how long this is. Because not every day you can actually say that you are walking on a runway. Of course, in airports that are still in use, this will be completely prohibited. But here, of course, it's still allowed. And what I have realized, there's actually a bunch of people visiting this place. This place, even though it's abandoned, it has actually become a very important hotspot here in Croatia. Not only because of the particularities of the place by itself, it's also because it's very close to the Plitvice National Park, which is probably the most important hotspot in Croatia, apart from the cities in the coast. But look at this. So guys, look at this. I'm walking on a runway. This is just crazy. But the most beautiful and curious part of this military base is something I'm gonna show you in a few clips, which makes this place unique in the world for those that love urban exploration. And you will see in a few seconds what I'm talking about. But actually there's not just one runway in this airbase. There are actually two of them. And I'm now crossing from the one I was showing to you in the previous clip to the second one, which is right in front of me right now. And there you go. It is actually quite big. I mean, I knew this place would be big, but I wasn't expecting it would be that much. I was expecting it to be much smaller. So look at all this. Yeah. It is important to remember, if you ever decide to come here, that you shouldn't actually abandon the paved roads. Why? Because in all those areas that are not covered by road, there are still mines from the war that took place here in the Western Balkans in the early 90s. Even though Croatia is a very touristy and developed country, there are still some mines that have been left there. So it is actually very, very dangerous to walk outside these paved roads. So guys, that tunnel that you can see at the end of this paved road is actually what makes this place unique. Because, yeah, you guessed right, this was an underground air base. So yeah, all the airplanes and spares, etc., were actually kept underground. And this is so cool. Like there is actually there is a lot of places along the Balkans that are like underground shelters, which were used during the Cold War and later on to hide and to keep submarines and in this case even airplanes, as you can see. Look at these guys. We are already underground. This was like a really big storage, like a garage, let's say, for vehicles. I mean, for military vehicles, of course, for the airplanes. It was basically like a hangar and a shelter at the same time. And I was reading the other day that the armies from so many countries actually chose this place to bring their airplanes. I don't know how deep this is, but I cannot see that much from here. That's why so many people bring torches with them when they explore this area. But I'm gonna try to use my phone. Like my phone is not strong enough and I don't see the light actually bouncing back to me. So this time I will choose not to keep going. But look at this. This is the entrance from inside. But look at how cool this place is, guys. I'm not an expert in urban exploration, of course, but I always want to show you usually places that people don't visit, as you already know. Because generally, when people come to Croatia, they choose to go to the coast, like visiting Dubrovnik, Split, Zadar, Pula, which are marvelous cities that you all should actually visit at some point. But remember that Croatia also hosts places like this one, which reminds us about the past in this part of the planet, because 35 years ago or less than that, this part was shaking actually. It was a very conflictive area. So today we are actually following the traces of the past. So guys, as I was mentioning before, we are actually in the border between two countries. This is just a small piece of terrain that protrudes into Bosnian territory. Actually, my friend was receiving a Bosnian signal to his phone. I haven't received that message yet, so... But yeah, we are in Croatia, but very close. And this is a unique place. I mean, I've been trying to come here like for a while already, as I was mentioning, and I wasn't able. But now I'm very happy. And of course I'm happy to be able to show it to you all. So guys, today is Saturday, but I was expecting to find even more people here, but don't expect to have this place for yourselves when you come to visit it, because it's a very touristy area. So yeah, and as I said, you should never leave the paved road. You should never get into the forest or anything like that. And parallel to the other hangar, we have actually found this tunnel as well. Not very sure about what it is exactly, but since there were people actually coming out of it, I think it's completely okay to get into there. I've seen actually so many people that were like much better prepared than me. They were bringing their torches, some of them around their heads, in order to be able to explore in a much more efficient way. Let's see what we find there.
You know what I should do here? And
Actually, from outside it didn't look so deep, but I think it's actually...
did you hear the plane?
Yeah.
They will attack us now.
My friend is saying that we can hear a plane in the background, so he says probably they are planning to attack us. Hopefully not. Yeah, whatever. Life is risk, isn't it? Only joking. This is actually quite deep as well, but for some reason, even though the entrance is more narrow than in the previous one, I see that the light reaches a deeper point than before. Yeah. But as I did before, I'm now coming back to the light because I'm not gonna run any risk of getting any deeper. Look at these guys. This is feels like a combination between an abandoned airport and Chernobyl. Oh, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Another thing you realize when you visit these kind of places is that step by step nature reconquers territory. But of course I've been told that a while ago this was even more covered by vegetation, and a really big part of the vegetation of course has been removed in order to allow tourists to visit this area in a much easier way. And from here you can see the whole runway. It's actually quite long and it has like a few bumps. I put up I knew there were like 2 runways here and that you could walk on the runway. What I would have never expected is the runway to be so long. Well guys, just to speak a bit about the historical context of everything, you could say, if there has been a military base built up in between 2 countries, probably it's because those 2 countries want, of course, to defend from each other. But there is something we need to keep in mind. This military base was built up during the 60s. During the 60s, these 2 countries actually didn't exist as independent countries. They were both part of the same union, which was Yugoslavia, which in the early 90s split into 8 different republics. So it was originally built up for the defense of Yugoslavia. And the tunnel that I just showed you before in the previous clip is actually only a part from the original building. Originally there was a really big, thick steel gate that once closed could actually resist an explosion similar or even stronger than the one in Hiroshima. So just to give you an idea how fortified this area was. So guys, if you can see that narrow road right in front of me, if we start walking and we keep walking for a couple of kilometers, we would end up actually closing the border and entering Bosnia and Herzegovina. And as you can see, the airport is built up right next to a mountain, But that mountain is actually not just a geographical accident or a geographical limit. There is actually like an underground city there where they used to obtain everything they needed when this military base was active. That's why the tunnels we were showing to you before were actually very deep. Because actually they are not just hangars, they are everything you could actually need.